Ladies and gentlemen, with the recent market rally, every FANG name, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google's, hit all-time highs recently, except for one of those names. We're going to discuss that today and talk about, can this name go to all-time highs, and potentially there's a new catalyst on board. I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. This following Newsbeat Show has been brought to you by T3 Live. Thank you for reading our disclaimer. Not only that, if you like free tendies, why not a free psychology ebook? How to overcome psychological toxicity in your trading. Very devastating thing. And we will get right on to the show. So why don't we start off here? We're going to, of course, look at Netflix. We've seen names like Facebook hit all-time highs recently, $358.79 on July 6th. We've seen Apple hit all-time highs yet again today, making all-time highs at $149.57. We've seen Amazon hit all-time highs literally 2 days ago. Yesterday, rather, on Tuesday, not one day ago. 37.7308, all-time high on Amazon. Really beautiful move. We've seen Google do it. Today, $2,586.53. Heck, even though not part of the FANG names, we've seen Microsoft do it today. $283.66 per share of Microsoft. We've seen NVIDIA do it, of course, recently. A week ago on Wednesday, literally 1 week ago, $835 on NVIDIA. But there's one name, of course, who didn't get to hang out with the cool kids. One name that just couldn't find any catalyst. Nothing would bring it up. Everybody has their boring Netflix service. It's always there. It's comfortable. Most people who have it, they get a little tired of watching it. Maybe they'll watch a show here or there that comes out. But for the most part, it seems like people don't want to be without it. They still want to have it, even if they're not using it. I've spoken to people who haven't used their Netflix in months. It's kind of crazy. And it's like, oh, why don't you sign out? No, I'm not. I need it. It's almost like a security blanket to have a Netflix subscription, right by your side. And that's sort of the funny thing, that it's something that even if people don't use, they'll never cancel type thing. But Netflix did something quite incredible today, which I'm going to delve a little into it. There was a headline that came out today. Netflix plans to offer, came out, Bloomberg, breaking Bloomberg news, 6:08 p.m. So literally just a little over an hour ago as I filmed this. Netflix marking its first big move beyond TV shows and films, is planning an expansion into video games and has hired a former Electronic Arts and Facebook executive to lead the effort. So when you're offering video games on Netflix, it's quite obvious what's going to happen. It's not going to be one of those things where, like the old school Nintendo cartridges. People don't realize, like, those little, those games that people buy nowadays, the majority of them are only available for digital download, meaning it's not like the old school Nintendo games where you get a cartridge, you get an instruction manual, you buy a box, you tear it open. It's not really like that anymore. I mean, yeah, it still exists for like the Nintendo Switch or video games like that, but for the most part, it's all digital download. What people are underestimating is this is going to be a completely new revenue stream into Netflix to try to capture gamers. And the beautiful thing about this is people can literally watch Netflix, of course, as you knew, on your computer. Most people associate watching Netflix only on your TV. You could watch, I mean, I have the Netflix app on my phone. I could watch Netflix on my phone. I could watch it obviously on my computer, and I could watch it on a television. Most people like television because the screen is big. Your television screen is most likely larger than your computer screen, which is most likely larger than your phone screen. So it is going to bring a new class of gaming. And the interesting part about this, reading between the lines, it's very obvious to me what's happening here. First, you get an Electronic Arts executive on gaming because you don't want your video games to suck. People make shit video games all the time. 95, 96, 97% of video games suck. They suck. They're bad games. They're poorly made, and you're not going to capture the hearts of the gamers. You might market it and get some, some idiot on a public transit bus to just download it as he's getting like spam advertised from a Facebook. But all those games suck. So you hire Electronic Arts. Electronic Arts is one of the top, if not one of the top video. I was going to say Activision Blizzard. Activision bought Blizzard, but Electronic Arts. I mean, I've been playing Electronic Arts games since like 1986. I've been playing EA games when they used to make games for the Commodore 64. Back some old school shit if I'm dating myself. Yeah, EA Sports, it's in the game, right? So they hired an executive from Electronic Arts, which is a huge move. Former Electronic Arts executive, and they also hired a Facebook executive to lead the effort into the Oculus gaming system. So it's clear that they want to make virtual reality games. This is going to be a very big jump into VR. I can already see what's going to happen. They're going to have free games to download to get you hooked, and they're going to have paid games to download. And if they're really smart, what they'll do is they'll give you what they might do is they just might give you a gaming pass and say, hey, for an extra $5 or $10 a month, you could play whatever game you want, infinite games. And that might be a lure, and then you'll lure people into that. And since Netflix is already a security blanket, which people don't want to get rid of, they might just keep the game add on, even if they don't play the games often or ever. It's just how people operate. It's just how people operate. So, you know, when it comes to this, it's a very big move. Now, of course, with this announcement, as you could have guessed it, Netflix is exploding after hours, $565, 60 cents right now as I speak. And you can see Netflix has not enjoyed all-time highs recently. The last time we hit all-time highs was January earlier this year. Most of the names have been hitting them very, very recently. And that was, of course, on earnings. It shot up on earnings that one day, and then that was it. It fell down and never looked back. All-time highs, $593.29. We're trading at 565 at the moment. We are literally 28 points. This Netflix might 28 points away at the moment with the after hours print from this all-time high. I mean, there's a very good chance that Netflix is going to potentially shoot over $600 if you break that all-time high. And this could be obviously a very big move. And who knows when it comes, of course. Anything can happen. It can happen. It cannot happen. But this is where my mind is going for the potential opportunity. Something, of course, I'll have to watch intraday to make sure, if it wants to get there or not. And of course, I'll call it out. But, they hired Mike Verdu, and they have an Electronic Arts and a Facebook executive, and they pulled them away. And they're going to be offering games and expansion beyond films. So, of course, as you guessed it, GME getting slammed on this, which is honestly so stupid. It makes no sense why. I mean, GME should go down if GME wants to go down, but it makes no sense why GME is getting slammed on this news because people are like, oh, this is bad for GME. You want to know who this is bad for? GME. You don't walk into GME to download a digital game. You walk in GME to buy a system, a cartridge, a toy. It's bad for Steam. It's bad for Microsoft. It's bad for, you're ready for this one, NVIDIA. This is direct competition. Now, do I think Microsoft or NVIDIA are going to get hit on, even Apple, if you want to go, the extra length? Because you're not going to go on an Apple iStore and download a game app. Like right now, if you have your phone and you wanted to download a game, you'd go to the App Store, right? And you'd download the game. You're not going to be logging into any App Store on Netflix. Netflix is going to own the entire platform and they're going to create their own platform. Now, do I think the other names go down as a result? No, but the company that this is least bad for is GME. And I'm not defending GME. I'm not bashing or defending it. I am saying this down move in GME based on this news to me is illogical. For me, it's illogical. I mean, you have GME down 11 points approximately at the moment, $11.13. GME is getting crushed right now after hours, and it makes no sense because the one thing you don't do in a GME is buy a digital game. You do that online. You don't need to step foot in a GameStop to buy a digital game. So here's the irony. You have Netflix coming out, and again, I don't think these are incrementally bad for NVIDIA. It's actually good for NVIDIA and Microsoft, and I wouldn't say good for GME. GME is just a really, they need to rethink their entire business model. But what you have here is you have something completely innovative. If you remember, Facebook wanted to do Libra, their own cryptocurrency that never came through. And that to me was going to be one of the big sources of revenue in the entire company. Facebook hasn't really done, I mean, Oculus wasn't really a big source of revenue. How many, all right, be honest, how many of you guys played Oculus games? I mean, I haven't, but I actually have the Oculus. I should play some of the games. I actually have it. But look, it's just because I don't have much time to play games. Like I'm gonna let my kids try it, but at the same time, it's like when you stop and you just think about it for a second, Netflix is gonna break into the video game world, and given the fact that they're a subscription-based company, how many dollars a month are you paying Facebook, ladies and gentlemen? Zero? Most of you. I know there's ways to pay them. I'm not, right, zero. How much money are you paying Google every month? Maybe a small fee. I pay Google money every month for YouTube. I get YouTube Red. I pay them, what is it, like $1.99 or $2.99 or $3.99 a month for YouTube without commercials. I pay that. But the bottom line is, Apple, do I pay Apple? Maybe sometimes. I don't know. Maybe. Out of all of them, Netflix has the highest monthly subscription cost for most people. I know some people like, Mark, I run my business on Amazon Web Services. And it's like, okay, I got you, bro. Cool. But for most people, Netflix is where you pay the most money. What Netflix is going to likely do is they're going to just make a thing where you click to add on off of your current account. And you're going to have so many people who are going to click a button and forget about the fact that they clicked it. What they're going to do is like click a button here if you want 30 days free of video games and you can cancel at any time. They're going to do something and you're just going to get a bunch of people who are not going to play the video games who are going to click and pay for them. And that's what's going to happen with Netflix, in my opinion. That's what's going to happen. And this is going to be an incredible stream of revenue. Because keep in mind, there's also a Netflix app on your phone. People are going to be logging in their Netflix app on their phone to play video games. And if they can make some addictive games like a Candy Crush style or something like that, they can knock it out of the park with this news. This is literally a brand new revenue stream that fits perfectly with their business model. It's a perfect marriage for their business model to have games and streaming movies. And they finally did it. Stock's at 564 now as I speak. It hit a post market high of 566. And Netflix is definitely going to be one of the names we focus in on tomorrow. If you would like to try the Newsbeat live room, we have a free open house July 19th to 23rd. There's a link in the description, t3live.com/open. And you could go there and be part of it. July 19th to 23rd, that's next Monday to Friday. You could experience the best we have to offer here for free. Free 10 days. Take advantage of it. You have only upside and no downside. Lots going to be given to you for free in there too. I'm going to give you free strategies. I'm going to show you an aspect of the market that very few people pay attention to, that we take advantage of. and it'll cost you nothing. So make sure you click it. Link in the video description, t3live.com/open to have free access to our open house. Sign in early because you do not want to be left out. You do not want to be left out. Sign in before it's too late. You don't want to be on the waiting list. Trust me, that is not a place you want to be. Sitting there in a crowded room, lady next to you releases has a little kid who releases like a big fart. You're stuck in the waiting room smelling it, waiting for your turn to be called. You don't want to deal with that shit. Literally. So we'll be watching Netflix. Let's see if we can make all-time highs. I'm not saying it happens at all or tomorrow, but 593.29 is that level, and it's going to be a key focus on my list. I hope you guys enjoyed this Newsbeat show. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast.